welcome back to my channel. I'm Christy, if you're new here. Since summer is coming in Chicago, I figure that now is the perfect time to kick off a little Summer in Chicago series, and I am starting with today's video, which is sights to see and sights to skip when visiting Chicago this summer, or in general, whatever. As with all travel, what you decide to do in any given city or destination is completely up to you based on your own taste and preferences. So again, this is just my opinion. I basically went on to a bunch of different websites and found kind of the top tourist destinations in Chicago. So this is just my opinion on what, as a Chicago local, I would see and what I would skip, especially if this is your first time visiting Chicago. Before we get started, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do so below. I don't know which one it is. Subscribing to my channel really does help me out. I promise that it is worth it for you to subscribe. I upload videos every Tuesday and Thursday. They are usually travel videos, a lot having to do with Chicago since that's where I live. So if you're into that kind of thing, please do subscribe below. Okay, that's enough. Let's get into it. Also, like I said, I created this list that I'm going to discuss based off of different lists online of like top Chicago tourist spots. So if you have any thoughts about what I've included, or if you feel like there's something major that I left out, because I probably did, feel free to comment below and just let me know. You can also leave any questions below regarding the places that I'm mentioning, so yeah. Number one tourist activity / destination on the list is architecture tours. So I definitely recommend doing an architecture tour, but by boat. I've never really done like the driving around ones on a bus. I feel like doing the boat ones are so much more fun because honestly, who doesn't love being on a boat? I mean, maybe if you get seasick, you don't, but like I love being on a boat. Would love to be on a boat right now if I could. I think that the Chicago river tours are so fun and so educational. You truly learn so much on them. There is a plethora of options of architectural boat tours to take in Chicago. My personal favorite is the Sea Dog Architectural and River Tour. It is so much fun. I've done it a couple times, especially when I've had friends come in to visit. We've done it. That one is just so fun because it starts at Navy Pier and they actually take you out on a boat ride on Lake Michigan, like a speedboat ride, which is so much fun. And then they take you into the river and do an awesome architectural tour. So I'll link that one below. That one's just my personal favorite, but really I feel like you can't go wrong with any of the boat tours. They're just so much fun and you learn so much about Chicago, the history, the architecture. It is definitely worth it to do an architectural tour. The second big category for tourist hotspots in Chicago are museums. Chicago has some incredible museums. I would say that the biggest main museums in Chicago are the Art Institute, the Museum of Science and Industry, the Field Museum, Shedd Aquarium, and the Adler Planetarium. There are definitely a million more museums in Chicago than just those ones, but those are definitely like the big ones that everyone kind of knows about. One thing to note is that the Adler Planetarium is currently closed because of the pandemic. So I would keep an eye on that if that is on the top of your list of places to see. It is not open as of the day I'm recording, which is May 3rd. Is it May 3rd? Why don't I know what day it is? So obviously choosing which museum to see in Chicago is up to you and what you want to learn about, what you want to see. But I'll give my opinion / advice on what I would do if I was coming to Chicago, especially for like the first or second time. Overall, my favorite museum in Chicago is hands down the Art Institute. They have an incredible collection of artwork. They have amazing exhibits throughout the year. And I just feel like every time I go there, I learn so much and I could genuinely spend hours there. Another added benefit of the Art Institute is that regardless if you're staying downtown or elsewhere in or around the city, it is very easy to get to. The Art Institute is on Michigan Avenue, so it is very accessible by bus, by the L, by Uber, by driving. It's just really easy to get to. So that is definitely an added benefit. You can't really say that for all of the museums on the list. So the Museum of Science and Industry is a really cool museum. Like they have fascinating things there. They have like submarines, like obviously a ton of science things. So it is a really cool place to go. At Christmas, they have Christmas trees from around the world, which is probably my favorite thing in the world because one, I love Christmas, and two, I obviously love travel. So I love learning about different cultures. So it's really cool to see the Christmas trees kind of themed to each country that they represent. Love it. The Museum of Science and Industry is currently doing a Marvel exhibit. Barsh and I are going to the Marvel exhibit this week. I am beyond excited and I will be including it in an upcoming video. It will be my Hyde Park guide, so keep an eye out for that one in the coming weeks. So I will say, I know that the Marvel exhibit is booked out like months in advance. So if you're watching this video and you want to see the Marvel exhibit, if you're coming to Chicago August on, go on there and book it now. Because I actually called yesterday and they are booked out until August. That's wild. So, just a side note about the Marvel exhibit. If you're traveling with children, I would say the Shed Aquarium is a great option. It is very kid friendly. They have like beluga whales and stuff, so there's a lot of cute things to see. But for me personally, that's not my go-to kind of thing, but I feel like that is a great option if you're traveling with kids. I would say of all the big museums in Chicago, the Field Museum is my least favorite, because while it's super cool to see the dinosaurs, I just find everything else they have there not to be super interesting to me personally. Obviously, this is down to your personal preference, but that's just kind of my overview of the big museums in Chicago. My favorites, the ones I might pass on, like the Field Museum. Unless you've never seen dinosaurs, that could be cool. Number 3 on the list is different observation decks, like the Sky Deck at the Willis Tower or the 360 observation deck at the John Hancock Center. I'm gonna say skip. This might be controversial. Just hear me out on my opinion on this. And feel free to disagree, this is just my thought on it. I feel like you can get so many amazing views of Chicago without paying for tickets, having to wait in long lines, and deal with like the COVID hassles. As an example, I was actually reading recently about people who were going to the 360 observation deck in the John Hancock Center, and I guess because of COVID, they're doing time tickets, so you literally get your ticket for an assigned time. So people who are going at like 5 o'clock, say, they show up at 5 o'clock, and then they're waiting in line for hours just to get up to the deck. So they think, oh, I'm coming at 5, so I'll get right in, or maybe have a quick wait. They're waiting like 2+ hours to get up to the observation deck. That is ridiculous, and that is a waste of your precious Chicago time, especially if you're visiting. If it were me and I was traveling here and wanted to get a good view, I would go to the Signature Lounge at the John Hancock Center. You get the same exact view as the observation deck, like it's quite literally the same building, like maybe a floor below or something. But you get the same view, and you can sit there in their really nice restaurant, have a drink, have a dessert, do what you wish, and you have an incredible view while you hang out and just enjoy your time. Also, hot tip, the view from the women's restroom in the Signature Lounge is the best. I can't speak to the men's room, never been in it, but the view from the women's restroom is incredible. Another weird but hot tip is that the Uniqlo store on Michigan Avenue has an incredible view of like the Michigan Avenue area. If you go to the top floor of the Uniqlo store, I mean, the view is incredible. So if you also want like a free, amazing picture opportunity, amazing sightseeing opportunity, go to the Uniqlo store. Another good option for a view is to go to Cindy's Rooftop Bar on Michigan Avenue. I know that they've reopened recently, and you can get an amazing view from their rooftop bar, enjoy a drink, a meal, a snack, what have you, and take in a beautiful view of Millennium Park. I do have 2 kind of weird spots for you to get views. If you're looking for a full skyline view, I would head to the Pointe at Clarke Street. It is quite literally a DSW Michaels Marshalls little mall, but they have a parking garage at the top levels, like it's like 2 levels of parking. If you go to the very top, the view of the city is incredible. Like I remember the first time I ever went to that little shopping area, I literally was like, this is the view of the city from this random like DSW parking lot. What is happening? So I'll actually leave the address for that below if you guys want to literally go to the parking garage and take in that amazing view. If you want an amazing picture with the skyline behind you, like that is the spot. It's amazing. The second weird location to get an amazing skyline picture is actually another parking garage. It's a parking garage at Lincoln Common in Lincoln Park. Again, I'll leave the address below. But again, you go to the top level. It's like an open parking garage at the top. You go to the top level and you literally get an entire huge city skyline. Like it's incredible. If you're there at night, I mean, obviously don't go alone to the parking garage at night. I mean, that's like a relatively safe area, but you know, don't go to the parking garage alone. But the view is incredible. Like it's literally the full skyline. Like it's actually remarkable. Actually, you know what? I'll put a picture here so that I can convince you guys that I'm not crazy to go to a parking garage to get a picture of a skyline. I will say that if you really do want to go to an observation deck, I would probably choose the Sears Tower one over the John Hancock just because the Sears Tower is so iconic to Chicago. Excuse me, the Willis Tower. Number 4 on the list is the Bean/Millennium Park. So I will say that you should see the Bean, but not as an ultimate destination. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is that if you're going to see the Bean, There's really not like a ton else in that park. In the winter, they do have ice skating. They do occasionally have concerts there in like the pavilion. But if you're just like going to see the Bean, there's not like a ton of other things right in that park. It is in the center of downtown though. So if you are downtown in Chicago, like going to the Art Institute, doing some shopping, you absolutely have to stop and see the Bean. I don't care what other people will tell you. I feel like if you've never seen the Bean in Chicago, like it's an icon for a reason. And I am not judging you for wanting to see it. I love seeing the Bean. I live here, and every time I'm downtown, I love to walk by it because I just think it's the cutest, coolest thing. So I think you should definitely see it. And I guess what I mean by not as a destination is that since there's not a ton to do, don't be like, oh, we're checking out all of these other neighborhoods and we don't want to do anything in downtown, but we want to see the Bean. That might put it a little out of your way. But if you're already downtown, absolutely go see the Bean. Are you crazy? Number 5 on the list is Wrigley Field. This is a major depends one. It really depends. Are you a sports fan? Do you care about the history of a baseball stadium? I think that's interesting. I'm not even a huge like sports supporter. It's not like I'm like a diehard Cubs fan, but I think that Wrigley is super cool. I think it is really cool to learn the history of it. It's so fun to go to a game. So if you have no interest, obviously skip it. But if you're into it, absolutely go. Try to get tickets to a game. I know they're selling out like pretty far in advance, but they do have tickets on StubHub. I double checked for you guys. They're on there. So you can get tickets to a game. They usually do tours of Wrigley and you can learn like the history of it, but unfortunately I think because of the pandemic, those are temporarily suspended. So you can't do a tour, but you can go to a game or you can just stop by and get a picture in front of the sign because it's iconic. So I don't know, I think it's fun to go. Number 6 on the list is Lincoln Park Zoo. And I'm gonna say skip because zoos make me sad. That's it. That's the only reason I'm saying skip. Okay, in all seriousness, zoos really do make me sad, so like I just don't really go to them. The only time I've ever really gone to the Lincoln Park Zoo was to see the lights at Christmas, which is a fun activity. I don't know, the zoo makes me sad, so I say skip. But again, if you have kids, I get it. Kids love the zoo. I loved the zoo as a kid. For me, a grown adult with no children, I would say skip. You know, if you have kids, might be a different story. I will say, Lincoln Park itself, do not skip. The park is beautiful. Lincoln Park, the neighborhood is amazing. So I actually have a video about Lincoln Park. That wasn't even like an intentional plug. I'll link it up here. Number 7 is Navy Pier. And I know this is gonna be controversial, but I'm gonna probably say, ooh, it depends. I was gonna say skip, but it depends. It really depends. If it's cold out, skip. Because if it's cold out, like really cold out, it's gonna be even colder at the pier. So windy. If it's cold out, don't go to Navy Pier. If you're on limited time in Chicago, I would probably skip it. It's so iconic. I know it's so iconic, but I feel like there are so many other things to do in Chicago that are very central to each other. Navy Pier is downtown, but it isn't the easiest to get to. It is walkable from like the Michigan Avenue area, but it is a little bit of a walk, like maybe like 25, 30 minutes. You can access Navy Pier by the bus, obviously by an Uber. There is parking near Navy Pier, but it isn't like you can just like hop, skip, and jump right over there. Basically, the views from Navy Pier are amazing. Riding the Ferris wheel is super fun in my opinion, love the Ferris wheel. But I do feel like the majority of things at Navy Pier are geared toward children. So again, if you have kids, Navy Pier could be a great option. They have like a ton of cute things for kids, like activities for kids, rides for kids. But I do think for an adult, it's a little more limited. I do think it's so iconic. So in my opinion, I don't know. I just feel like people should go see it, especially if you want to ride the Ferris wheel. It is so fun. I don't know. Basically, I'm totally wishy-washy on this one. Basically, I say if you're gonna do like an architectural tour that originates at Navy Pier, like the Sea Dog tour, then absolutely go to Navy Pier, walk around, enjoy it, ride the Ferris wheel, get a snack, get a drink. But I do think it's up to you and what your priorities are when you're in Chicago, whether or not to fit Navy Pier into your itinerary. I think it's fun. Others might disagree. This is a controversial one. I'm being controversial with myself. I don't know where I stand. The last Chicago destination that I'm going to mention on this list is the Lakefront Trail. And I say absolutely do the Lakefront Trail. The views from the Lakefront Trail are incredible. You get the city views, you get the lakefront view. It is truly so beautiful, especially on like a sunny day, a warm sunny day. Oh my gosh, it's the best. Even if you walk or bike just a small portion of the trail, I think it's totally worth it. It's fun to get out there, move around a little bit, take in the sights, just get a little fresh city air. I don't know, I love the Lakefront Trail, it's so fun. You can rent divvy bikes at different points around the trail. It's really easy to get a divvy bike, and it's just so much fun to ride your bike, like listen to a little music. I don't know, it's just the best. I would definitely recommend it. I feel like the Lakefront Trail is one of the best things in Chicago. I love it. So that's it. I condensed a lot of things into kind of smaller categories of sights to see and sights to skip in Chicago. I'm really curious to know what you guys think is worth it to see in Chicago and what you would totally skip, so please comment below and let me know what you think. I really hope this video was helpful, and I hope to see you in Chicago this summer. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.